Let's give it up for Lion Dance Me and Dania Dance and Drum. Amazing. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to your San Francisco Public Library. I'm Michael Lambert, and I'm proud to serve as your city librarian. I want to wish everyone a warm, happy Lunar New Year, Gong Hei Fat Choi, Shen Yen Kuai Le, and happy Black History Month. It's great to be here for our third annual Drumbeats Heartbeats Communities as One, our joint celebration of Lunar New Year and Black History Month. It's so wonderful to be here in community with all of you. A couple years ago, the library came together with the Human Rights Commission and our community partners, the Booker T. Washington Center and the APA Heritage Foundation. And we came together to stand together and recognize the shared struggle of our African American and Asian American communities against the multiple forms of discrimination and racism that combine, overlap, and intersect to affect our communities. The library is honored to partner with our wonderful partners again to highlight Black excellence and celebrate the culture and heritage of our diverse Asian community in San Francisco. I'm delighted to share the stage with my colleague who will be offering some welcoming remarks, Mawuli Tugbenyo, the Director of the Human Rights Commission. Mawuli.
Thank you. I like that. I need you guys to roll with me everywhere. Mawuli Tugbenyo, Acting Director of the Human Rights Commission. Is a privilege to be with all of you this evening as we celebrate Lunar New Year and Black History Month. This is just such an incredible celebration that I have attended before in the past, right there in the audience where you all are now, and I'm just honored to be in this role to help support it as the Director of the Human Rights Commission. Michael really said all of it, so I don't really have much to add, but it's just so important that our two communities really connect and just recognize the value and strength that we bring to the city, and if we work together, then we're only going to be stronger. So I just want to thank all of you again for being here, and pass it back to Michael.
Thank you, Mawuli. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge some incredible community leaders that are with us today. The former president of the Board of Supervisors and District 10 Supervisor, Shaman Walton. If you could come on up. And our Sheriff, Paul Miyamoto. Come on up, sir. At this time, I'd like to welcome our sponsors up on the stage, our wonderful partners, Claudine Ching, APA Heritage Foundation, Shakira Simley, Executive Director of the Booker T. Washington Center. We're gonna take a quick photo, capture. Oh, that's right. And our esteemed department heads, Ralph Remington, Executive Director of the San Francisco Arts Commission, our commissioners, Irene from the Human Rights Commission. Come on up and join us on stage. We're going to capture this moment, take a quick photo. All right, thank you. We got our glamour shot out of the way. I want to acknowledge members of our fire department who are here. Simon Peng, yes. Thank you for being here. You know, every year the library begins our celebration of Black History Month in January with our More Than a Month programming. And we continue our unapologetic celebration of Black history and culture year-round through activities in our neighborhood libraries and through the African American Center here at the main library. We also have a robust lineup of events to celebrate Lunar New Year and Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the spring. Our city and county of San Francisco is intentional about recognizing the beauty and unique contributions of our diverse AA, NHPI, diaspora, and our African American community. And that is what makes our city of San Francisco special. Our diversity is our strength. And that is why I am so delighted to welcome our special guest today who will be gracing us with their art. We have Genny Lim, recently inaugurated as the 9th Poet Laureate and the first Chinese American to ever hold this post. She is joined by her predecessor, Tongo Eisen-Martin, who was the 8th Poet Laureate for the city and county of San Francisco. Both will be performing today with composer and bassist Marcus Shelby. Please join me in welcoming our presenters to the stage.
Where you want to go?
Do all these mics work, man? What's up, bro? What's going on?
In the tall mic. Hey, Marcus. Yeah, I'm going to take this one. It's so beautiful. Who did the graphics? Ah, gorgeous. Wow. It's a keeper. What an honor to be performing with Tongo. I have big shoes to wear, you know. He's a tall order. He's a great poet. And Marcus Shelby, the extraordinary renowned Marcus Shelby, he's all over. He's at SFGovTV, he's doing it, and he's running the Healdsburg Jazz Festival. Yeah. And right, a hard-working group. Okay, why don't you start, Tongo? You're my predecessor.
Let me predecess. You know, a lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven, though. Here's a man before a fight. A leave me alone type character emerging from the penniless death of a one-way street fiction. I mean, fancy way of saying I'm gonna make it even if I have to drive backwards. All I got is chord changes and 1,000 backhands driving the street like I'm tokening. Car full of nephews, hasn't been a son since November, and it hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. You see this gun on the table? And something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone? On my death sleep late, my son better be quick. My daughter better shoot first because we fall for no one. We fall for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is the heat. This lady would tell me, trying to tell me about possession, drink life need is what I mostly hear. And most of the world leaves me alone to breathe smog like a giant, to go to jail every once in a while when the genocide kicks up in late May. When politicians have too easy a time, I'm guessing backwards out a one-way street. In honor of myself and in honor of you, if you understand the nature of the world. And how long I've been just like my father? A real resemblance says the anxiety of the neighborhood. This is a crossroads or a crossroads narrative of so much crossroads. People get in the habit of turn back only to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words. A man before a fight should feel the heat. There's nothing to keep in mind. There's nothing to remember. Really, there's nothing to be. It's just this moment, then another, then stare, then it all becomes stable. Then the table legs go fuzzy, and Friday's an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. It's cool to panic for a second. Composure is wasting on your worst enemies. People are marked on that sidewalk. You're the only thing life-size. Everybody knows it's in them. In a wire hanger empire, when the blood stops walking, that feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fold. You better swing one more time. You know that father of yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, and all alongside this water, and people don't rise from the grave. They're not laid down either. It's us who flip all around their bodies. So beware when the people around you all look like they about to jump, it might be your time. You feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls and the earth outside mutes, don't panic. You know, don't try to recreate the earth outside. Don't tell jokes to yourself. Don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fists and walk away. There might be heaven if you understand the nature of the world.
Kendrick Lamar got nothing over you, Tongo. I want to dedicate a couple of poems to women who are real pioneers in the movement, in the civil rights movement, and because they were really hooked in with the movers and the shakers, like Yuri Kochiyama, who held the head of Malcolm as he lied dying in that ballroom. And she always held the torch for those of us who followed in her footsteps, Yuri Kochiyama and her dream. All the world's a dream, awakening the mind, a pyrrhic dance in the appearance of time. Dare she to dream the world a circle, a basket woven of our differences, visible and whole. Imoja, Monigo, Manjano, creatures of the earth in every color, race, and creed, shining like cut diamonds, reflecting 1,000 galaxies of worlds within worlds, beings upon beings, slipping on air with the language of communality. Dare she to march with the black saints under the cold gaze of hell, sparking dreams in history's shadow with the passage of seasons, revolutions and battles, pushing the hours, days through Sisyphus's noose to touch the burning stars. Tongnat koseku spiritus togo a olungin. Each day becomes harder to grasp the bow's arrow with the grand view of the unified map from which her visions are drawn in perfect alignment with a reverence for beauty and life and the soul of a species. Ebunye, Vinotiba, Agape, her dream. And this one's for Janice Mirikitani. It was she and Reverend Cecil Williams who built up Glide, put it on the international map, and we will always remember fearless Janice. Breaking our silence. The way an old house creaks when it's abandoned, breaking silence, the way a snow line vanishes without a trace when tracked, breaking silence in the 10,000-mile march through the hills and valleys of stolen land, abandoned farms with summer squash rotting on deserted vines, breaking silence against evacuation orders and loyalty oaths, branding the dispossessed enemy alien, Jap, no boy, persona non grata, breaking our silence to lift the stigmata of incarceration from bound feet and hands, breaking silence to reclaim our bodies, our faces, our tongues, our voices, our children, our names, our canceled dreams and blood inheritance, breaking silence for the women who hold up half the sky for their men at war fighting for the survival of the richest, breaking silence for the forsaken and the forgotten, the homeless, the broken, the abused, breaking silence to tell the truth against colonial settler myths and omissions, breaking silence with the fierce courage and clear vision of a lioness protecting her cubs, rekindling the fire of the sacred feminine from the ashes of a broken world. Women give shelter, love, and hope to break the silence.
lines is off. There really isn't much more for me to say.
Oh, yeah. I know you.
As children are charming and brilliant before they are murdered, and God dies there too, running among them. Every poet belongs in Gaza. You know, these little societies, they wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent on offering me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back like it's a Brinks. I wrinkle the concrete sometimes like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence turned away from a podium into the reeds like God is a dangerous twin. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor. You know, they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you in your broken neck from their foolish euphoria. From the loyalty out to their great superstition. Loyalty out to their agrarian reform, I returned to my mother completely disrespected for peeling the heat off of purgatory. They kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again. In this foul industrial complex, of bloodlines picked over, picked through, a sporting spiritual death of your devil at least half made, police become a pretty word. I'm reading a lynch mob shoestrings like they were tea leaves, teaching you how to write about cities. It's the 25th century in the mirror, people. Tyranny against your chump, tell you a chump to be mocked even with a gun in your car. A cubit of needlework spell tuned for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Talented people curled up in a fetal position next to a diamond dime. Just another service day in the theatrics of tea-house fascism and a bouquet of surveillance cameras in the poverty of God. New blue eyes, corpses of water. A newly potted presidency, a one big shiny corn if you ask animated capitalism, another non-literal voids killing this white freedom. The deification of hyphens. Medicine bread and picture shows, great protests in L.A., guests of our ink drop kicking rose in the graveyard, D.C. Mink like a stone torn in half. The pen advances despite CIA guideposts, despite non-African past and futures, a metaphorical but not surreal day, and a horn-ridden life-form player improvising king. Like a radio prize fight featuring Shango himself, a real hand sweeps the land of racism. Mal returned to the ground. Mal make progress with the gun. On our mother Emmanuel, they put on music that evening. A swinging type body language for you to drink with fermented $5 bills for your body language, some applause, my past stomach lining. Neither a good thing nor a bad thing like being psychic on the way to a lethal injection. It'll sit you down with Lady Day. Lady Day leading you to surrender their souls to Africa too soon. Poly thought floating in a cup of water, she saved me, accessing my stomach, accessing the love the American lynched. And coast leaves wood and avalanche into the wrist. Our mother Emmanuel, avalanche into the sharp keys, pain. Or the deal you make with pain. The piano makes sense for them. Lay hands on the world gradually, addressing the bending necks on the streets of the north. Traveler sailing in pain, repeating pain. North 10 trigger fingers on that piano. If harmony would have me, putting 100 fights on every direction. Offer the Lady Day, leaning on trees again, recruiting the countryside itself, saying, lay your plan on this lightning. Make your poems a corner pocket of men. I've greeted the blues itself. America may clean my dead body, but will never include me. There goes the poet. Killing without killing. Never mind this little painting of your language might be a meaningful lynching. A crow's passing, good and dead by the afternoon.
Yeah. Do you know why the cage bird sings? Do you know poor people all over the world sing? They've been singing from ancient times. On the cotton fields and the rice fields, the sugar plantations. Why the cage bird sings for Maya Angelou. If you're going to die this evening, what will you do in the time that remains? Mahmoud Darwish. Why does the cage bird sing? She sings when darkness falls, not waiting for tomorrow's call. Why does the cage bird sing? She sings because she does not wait for the sun to lift her from her fate, or some quick fix or court of law to save her from the lyncher's claw. This bird waits for no one. Her flight to freedom is never done. To be dragged by hatred's chain? Hell no, that ain't her game. She is not invisible. She is indivisible. Like the sun that rises on her black, brown, and yellow sisters who stand proud and tall beside her. She knows that life is an unmade bed, ready for love any day, any weather. So why does the cage bird sing? She knows that freedom rings with whatever joy you bring. And if you're going to die this evening, what will you do in the time that remains? And that's why the caged bird sings. Thank you. We can just freestyle. You're always freestyling. Tongo.
Freestyle. Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity. This won't be the poem. This will just be, let me put my hand on my heart and say that, like, you all are in the greatest hands ever as far as someone here to represent your imagination, represent your spirit. She has a spirit the size of 1,000,000 San Franciscos. Just one of the most beautiful beings you'll ever come across, and we're lucky that she externalizes this beauty. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Wow. Touch my heart. Go for it.
That's it. That's all I got to say. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, come and join me. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. One more verse. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand today. Oh, deep in my heart, I pray that I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We have a lot to overcome, and we need to unite and be together. Yeah, thank you. The great Marcus Shelby, the phenomenal Tongo Eisen-Martin. Yeah. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, that was amazing. Yep, yep. Thank you to our revolutionary poets, Genny Lim, Tongo Eisen-Martin, musician Marcus Shelby. Let's give it up one more time. So before I introduce our next speakers, I do want to acknowledge a very special guest today, District 5 Supervisor Bilal Mahmood. He represents this neighborhood. Supervisor Mahmood, would you like to make any remarks today? Sure, come on up.
Thank you all for being here. Sorry I'm keeping you away from the much better speakers and better program. But my name is Bilal Mahmood. I am the supervisor of District 5, which covers the Tenderloin where I live, all the way to the Western Addition Fillmore and to Haight-Ashbury. And just acknowledging this important month, I myself am the son of immigrants, and this neighborhood gave us so much from a path to upward mobility. I grew up in the peninsula, but the neighborhood provided an example for our community that this is a city that provides opportunity for all, for small business, for immigrants, for refugees, and we're in a challenging time, both nationally as well as locally. We have significant challenges with immigrants under attack, people of color under attack nationally from our federal government, but also locally in San Francisco. We're losing a grocery store, where housing is being lost throughout this neighborhood, and now we have to come together in this month to show that San Francisco, District 5, and the city is united in supporting all of our residents, be they in the Tenderloin, the Western Addition Fillmore, and that's a lot of what we are going to be working on from our office. And I wanted to thank everyone here for being here, for showing that unity in this month between the Black and the API population for that reason. And I wanted to thank a lot of the people here, from our sheriff, from the Human Rights Commission, Shakira, Booker T, and the Booker T staff are here as well, and many other organizations that are here that are providing that unity from the city and providing that commitment to working together and solving these challenges. So thank you all for being here, and we're looking forward to serving you in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Mahmood, for your leadership and support. All right, at this time, I'd like to welcome up some dear colleagues and partners, Shakira Simley, Executive Director of the Booker T. Washington Center, and Claudine Ching from the APA Heritage Foundation of San Francisco for some closing remarks.
Actually, it's more transitioning remarks, right? Because we have a great show coming, right? Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for taking time to join us. I don't know if you get an idea why we call it Drumbeats Heartbeats. If you were here earlier, in the last 2 years, we always started this celebration with the African drummers, and at the same time followed by the lion dance. And we felt that that was really symbolic of the two communities coming together. In the past 2 years, we have focused on areas like jazz or hip hop, because again, those are the art forms where we find so many of the folks from the different communities collaborating for the longest time. So when we were thinking about what we do this year, and I think poetry, it is because we have, last year we have Tongo Eisen-Martin, and now we historically have our Genny Lim. Their show and their performance, I think, really share with us the spirit of our communities together. And poetry was a very, very powerful form of informing us of public issues, of getting us to come together. Poetry and music is really amazing. So I want to thank our two poets again. Yeah. So Drumbeats, Heartbeats, communities as one. So there are many, putting together something like this takes a lot of men and women hours. We want to thank, of course, the amazing staff of the San Francisco Public Library. Marciel, Michelle, and everybody in the team. The San Francisco Human Rights Commission can't do it without, them. And John McKnight specifically, and Michelle. And of course, the Friends of the Library as a supporter. And on the community side, we have Booker T. Washington Community Service Center and the APA Heritage Foundation. If next year you want to join us, please let one of us know. We also, want to thank those community partners for spreading the word because, it doesn't make sense for us to talk to ourselves. We need an audience. We want people to come. We want to thank all the community partners for spreading the word in your emails, in your website, and whatnot. And some of these organizations include Asians Are Strong, the Japan Community Benefit District, Value Culture, Nihonmachi Street Fair, Dear Community, and the Chinatown Cultural Center. Thank you so much for being our community partners. And so we need to throw out a challenge that maybe next year every organization can bring 10 more people, right? We need to start outreach earlier, and that's when the year begins. And of course, we have a delightful reception after the grand finale performance of this evening with a mix of Asian and Black cuisines. So we hope that you stay with it. And we also want to thank East West Bank for what it is contributing. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hey, how's everyone doing? Good. I wanted to give some very short remarks before we introduce our next speaker in regards to solidarity. And I want to thank the Human Rights Commission, thank the Public Library for your support and our hardworking staff and our esteemed guests. I want to give homage also to the Black and AAPI celebration that's happened in Bayview for over a decade as well. So thanks to our folks in the Southeast for holding it down. Snaps. Yep. And so a note on solidarity. So I come to you all not just as a Black woman, but also as a wife to a Cambodian and Vietnamese man, and also to an older sister, to a tall, 6-foot, dark-skinned younger brother who's prone to wear a dark hoodie and also lives in San Francisco, Japantown. Over the past several weeks, I want to acknowledge that our collective community has been heartbroken and enraged at the relentless rhetoric and attacks on our folks, our most vulnerable folks. And I want to remind us that in these moments and in these tough times, that we can be kind, we can exhibit radical grace and let folks grieve. Just grieve. There's space for that. But also, we can call on our people and look after each other. And we need to have necessary conversations safely with those who look like us, right? So talking to our folks at our own kitchen tables, behind closed doors. We can also work together to reject the master's tools to shape our collective healing and our paths to restorative justice. We can also know our collective history together and be more honest and clear-eyed about our present. We can respect the legacy of our freedom fighters and the liberation work of our giants who walked together, such as Malcolm X and Yuri Kochiyama, Grace Lee Boggs, James Boggs. We can also remember lesser-known figures like Peter Yu's anti-police brutality stance in New York City and Fred Korematsu here in San Francisco. We also can't forget what cross-cultural movement building looks like here in San Francisco, here in the city. We can be inspired by the Third World Liberation strikes in 1968, which ignited SF states, BSU organizing with AAPI and Chicano students. Shout out to our Latina community as well. To the Black Panther Party forming strategic alliances with our Mexican and Filipino farm workers, right? Which led to the UFW strikes to boycott Safeway stores. That sounded a little familiar lately. And helping stop the purchase of California grapes until all of our folks were free. We can also remember our folks in the Western Addition who put their hands and bodies in front of homes, right? And businesses that were going to be bulldozed, right? In the name of unification. And we can also talk about even at Booker T. Washington, where we worked with the Kimogakuken Japanese Vocational School and saved that school when our Japanese neighbors were forcibly removed from their homes and businesses during World War II in a time of incarceration. Thanks, Ms. Barbara. We have a rich rich history of solidarity and actual work and action here in San Francisco. And so when we have these celebrations, we cannot forget that history. And many of you sitting in these seats and in this room were part of that history. Raise your hand if you're a part of that history. Everyone should raise your hands. Exactly, because you're here today. That's right. Give your neighbor a high five. That's right. And so what I want to say to everyone today, if San Francisco is going to, if San Francisco is going to remain the home of the sucker free, we're gonna have to work together to dismantle these racist, classist, and sexist systems together. Everyone say with me, together. Together. That's right. These issues I want to acknowledge are painfully complex, messy, and interconnected. And there's narratives that are existing that help exploit the tensions in between our Black and API communities, and that's real. We also want to make sure that we don't leave these old wounds open and bleeding, okay? Distrust breeds distrust. That's how white supremacy works. Our Black and API solidarity must be rooted in a new reality, a new reality. And so we can't just come together in times of tragedy and celebration. It's the in-between times that matter. Everyone says in-between times. In-between times. So we need to make room for art, for race dialogue, and for media to promote the safety, solidarity in every space, at home, at work, at school, even at the grocery store, right? We need to follow up with each other, and we need to honor the speed of community trust. And lastly, I'm gonna ask everyone, please do not fall for the dog whistle of insidious policy violence and rhetoric that stands to tear us apart. It's bullshit, y'all, right? Yeah, don't do it. I want to ask everyone to stand together and advocate for all the policies that keep our collective community, especially our folks, our seniors, our elders, our young people, right? Our poor folks, our trans folks, all the shades, all the diasporas of our community. Keep them nourished, housed, safe, and employed. Can I get an ashe? So on that note, on solidarity and grounding, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I'll see you guys, over some mini bells after this. But without further ado, I want to work together to give a loud round of applause for our next performers, Loco Bloco. Thank you.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be enslaved, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more weeping. No more weeping. No more weeping over me. And before I'll be enslaved, I'll be
grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, Yahweh, me Lord, oh, oh, Yahweh, me Lord, oh,
grand finale. I do want to acknowledge the president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, Raphael Mandelman. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. And I also want to acknowledge former District 4 Supervisor Eric Marr, who is in attendance tonight. Thank you for joining us. Well, I want to thank all of our partners, all of our sponsors, all of you for attending this event. You helped fulfill the library's mission to connect our diverse communities to learning opportunities and each other, and help dispel the narrative, the myth that our communities can't mix and thrive together. Who's ready to eat now? All right, let's feast. We're gonna have some food and fellowship across the hall in our Latinx community room. Thanks again, everybody, for coming tonight.